At the top of the answer key, you see 3 numbers, and actually your page should say 3 numbers. The first one is multiple choice, then vocab, and then short answer. So there were 69 possible, and I took it out of 67. That didn't include the 3 points that you could have gotten if you knew how fast winds need to be blowing for a system to be called a hurricane. So the first one, I was after climatological forecasts, is looking at long-term averages. The second one, mesoscale convective complexes. Actually, this one, number 2, multiple choice, you could have used for your short answer at the end. Mesoscale convective complexes are those multi-cell thunderstorms. And the best answer there is, I even used my quirky word blobby. The best answer C is that they're generally blobby, and they're about the size of the state of Missouri. Question 35, in the event you run out of letters of the alphabet, we go to the Greek alphabet. So the best answer for 3 is D. The question 4, what surrounds surrounding the center of the hurricane is ring of intense thunderstorms called the eye wall. So A is the best answer for 4. For 5, how is the wind of a tropical cyclone measured? Using airplanes and dropping those basically reverse weather balloons down. So dropping sounds, B is the best answer for 5. Question 6, the Saffir-Simpson scale goes to a 5. So Cat 5 for hurricanes, so D is the best answer for 6. Question 7, you have forecast bias, D, if you're consistently over or under. What it really happens, your forecasts are over or under. Question 8, which is not one of the ways we get initial conditions. D, trucks are not a good way. Question 9, the most dangerous weather can be produced by a crazy cell called a B supercell. Question 10, the cumulus stage of a thunderstorm. A marks the beginning where unstable air begins to rise. That just has an updraft. Question 11, the life stage of a tropical cyclone when does a tropical system receive a name? That's B, when it's a tropical storm. Question 12, which of these would tend to be most accurate? That would be the shortest term forecast, B. Question 13, which is false about naming tropical storms? It's false that D, that they are all female names, because now they alternate, male, female. Question 14, the mature stage of a thunderstorm, B is one that has both an updraft and a downdraft. That was like one of your quiz questions. Question 15, what determines when a tropical depression or storm is upgraded to a hurricane status? That would be D, it's wind speeds. Question 16, ensemble forecasting, the best answer there is B, uses several runs for the same forecast period. Question 17, which of these can disrupt the formation of a tropical cyclone? The best answer is C, that actually wind shear aloft is bad for hurricanes and good for tornadoes, if you're trying to get a hurricane and trying to get a tornado. So that's the best answer, C. 17, gust fronts occur. D, they're a part of the downdraft, so they actually are on the leading edge of a downdraft of a thunderstorm. Question 19, thunderstorms and large cumulus clouds are characteristic of C, unstable air. Some of these things we've been kind of talking about oftentimes in this class. 20, which is not a type of image that we get from our satellites. The best answer there is A, we don't get barometric pressure, but we get water vapor visible in infrared. So, question 21, the weather forecast uses information, this type of forecast uses information from past well-known conditions that are similar to current conditions. That would be B, the analog approach. Question 22, I would accept either C or D, and I went and hand-checked that one. A lot of you put C, which is not true about hurricanes. It's not true that hurricanes will pick up energy to become more intense as they travel over land. And actually, D is not correct either, as far as I can tell. In the northern hemisphere, around high pressures, air goes clockwise. Yeah. And here I've got D, that hurricanes tend to track counterclockwise around a Bermuda high. So I think D is wrong, too. That one won't make it to your final. Question 23, D, trend forecasting assumes that what you have upstream is what you're going to get. Question 24, thunder, best answer there is A, results when air is quickly heated by those electrons flowing and expands faster than the speed of sound, so A is the best answer there. 25, terms leader, flash, and stroke are all associated with D, lightning. 26, Tornadoes may drop down from B, wall clouds. Question 27, the 3 stages of a thunderstorm cell are cumulus, mature, and dissipating, A. Question 28, these satellites orbit in the vicinity of the equator and they remain fixed. So those are D, geostationary satellites. Question 29, these satellites orbit the poles, north to south, and they are actually, the best answer there is C, polar satellites. All right, question 30, last one. Of course, the B Galveston hurricane was the deadliest ever. Then on to short answer. These were worth 2 points apiece. In some cases, you got 1 or 2 points. Enhanced Fujita scale is the scale we use for tornadoes. 33 hours after storm surge, as that wall of water that occurs as your eye basically hits landfall. 34 hours after persistence forecasting, where basically the weather forecast assumes that the conditions you have will continue. Question 35, tropical cyclone, we call them hurricanes, but if you're in Japan, you call them typhoons. Question 36, I was after National Hurricane Center. NHC is the folks that actually track hurricanes and make the public aware and that sort of thing. If you put NOAA, I think I gave you 1 of 2 points, but NOAA is not specific enough. If you put National Weather Service, as I understand the flow chart, National Weather Service is definitely just a different branch from the National Hurricane Center, so you can get any. Wind shear, however you want to spell shear, I was after for 37. As you go, the wind changes speed or direction as you go up in elevation. It gives us our tilted cumulonimbus clouds. Question 38, I had one student in my other class who put funnel cloud is where a tornado doesn't reach the ground, and he said an almost tornado. Well, that's cute. So funnel cloud. Tornado alley is that region in North America where we kind of have a fair bit of tornadic activity. I was 40. I was after the eye is the calm region in the center of a hurricane. And then for this last part, for the first one, you needed to describe how you can use the delay in thunder from what you see the lightning to come up with distance. And actually, I think I might have taken off a point if you didn't tell me it was miles. The number that you're coming up with is miles. So basically, it's the seconds divided by 5 is equal to so many miles. 43, the stages of a hurricane. Assuming we're past the easterly waves sort of thing, we have a tropical disturbance, tropical depression, tropical storm, and then a tropical cyclone or hurricane. The next one, I wanted you to tell me what's the deal with heat lightning. Heat lightning is basically just regular lightning that's too far away. And it's far enough away that the sound dissipates before it gets to you, the observer. Question 45, I wanted the 2 types of, this one will not make it to your final either because no one liked this one. The 2 types of weather systems where you have multiple thunderstorms going on at the same time. Of course, the squall line is kind of characteristic, kind of a band of thunderstorms along a cold front or a dry line. And the other one is those blobby ones, the mesoscale convective complex. So one of these days you're going to be, like it's going to be 2 a.m. and you're going to be like, oh, I bet that's a mesoscale convective complex coming my way. It's a band of thunderstorms. It's blobby. Yeah. I know. You just will. You just wait. Question 46, if you're inland, what are you most likely to be affected by with a hurricane? And it's the flooding. It's the large amount of ocean water. That's kind of exciting, ocean water, that comes to makes it inland. Question 47, I wanted you to, this won't make it either, I don't like this question. But I wanted you to somehow, and you could go different routes with this, tell me about numerical weather forecasting. So what I was kind of after was this idea of initial conditions we get from whatever thing, and we feed it to a computer, and the computer has a model ready to accept that. So, but you could have gone probably a couple different ways with that. And then this one, figure. Okay, so we have the updraft is A, the downdraft is B. The overshooting tops, granted it's kind of hard to see, but overshooting tops are C up here. And then this is actually gust front. This D is gust front. I can tell that because you can kind of see these lines right here. That's precipitation, and this is the wind associated with the downdraft. So that's what D is. And then we're 3 extra credit points. There are several of you, I don't want to embarrass anybody, but several of you put this as your question from the video we watched. How fast do the winds need to be going in order for a weather system to be called a tropical cyclone or hurricane? And I actually would take anywhere between 73 to 75 miles per hour. So I know some of you are like a little under, a little.
I had 72.
I know, but I was just like, because there's a little bit of play in that number. So you were close. So yeah, the last unit exam.